Working? Okay. Yep, coffee sounds good. Five, four, three, two, one. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about sales today, printing sales. Uh, so let's get over there to the news. But first, something fun from Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Voyages.
Jennifer Lopez, Chief Celebration Officer of Virgin Voyages, here to invite you to celebrate. So come,
Celebrate your anniversary, your birthday, or just generally being fabulous.
Really, Kyle?
It's good, right?
Gen AI is supposed to be inviting people to Virgin Voyages, not doing whatever that was. Just give me that. As I was saying,
Why not celebrate on
an
an
award-winning voyage
with Michelin-starred, chef-curated menus?
world-class destinations, award-winning.
Boring. I'll hop in there. I'll hop right in that suit.
So supple.
I can't watch this. Give it to me. There's no kids here. That's all you need to know.
No kids.
Oh, can I live there?
Gen AI. Invite your crew to voyage. Create your custom invite at virginvoyages.com.
It's not just a yacht, it's a super yacht.
I'm not sure how this even worked. It's like, did it? It's like some combination of AI and some combination of AI mimicking and making fun of AI. It's really it's a lot of fun, I guess I got to say, and it's messing with me. I actually went to the Virgin. It's something like Virgin Gen AI, Gen.ai, and supposedly you can make your own version of this, but it was too weird for me and it took forever to load, and so I got started a little late because I got caught up in it as usual, right? As usual. So let's get over to the actual news, see what we got here. Here's the article from Audrey Kemp, and so we'll tag that one up. Anyway, it says Gen AI, a play on words for generative AI, has entered the chat for Virgin Group Cruise Line. The singer, dancer, actress became the first celebrity to give their likeness to an artificial intelligence program. And consumers, this is the part that's so interesting. Consumers can create their own custom invitations by using Gen AI tool by visiting virginvoyages.com. It's a little hard to find. I scrolled down the entire page to sort of find it, and it's really, you just have to click right by JLo's picture. And so, well, you saw the commercial. It builds on an existing partnership between Virgin Voyages and Lopez, which started in 2021. 77% of voyagers recommended sailing Virgin Voyages over other cruise lines. It's really poking fun at the world of AI. Gen AI gives everybody access to Jennifer to help gather their loved ones together and stop making excuses and set sail on the vacation of a lifetime. Now, what I'm really curious about, is if anybody actually does this. And, even if I did it in jest, I think if I sent it out to our family chat on WhatsApp, it might start the ball rolling. We might start thinking about it. Of course, we wouldn't go on this one because, we'd want kids, right? Kids would be involved. I hope so. The kids are coming today. But, it'll be interesting to see if instead of inviting one person, they're inviting you to invite your friends and family. Interesting. I thought it was really interesting. Okay. Amazon to partner with local small businesses for order deliveries. And this story, it seems like just broke today. They're actively recruiting businesses in 23 states. It looks to me like they're lower density. Well, I was going to say mostly lower density, but Massachusetts, New York, South Dakota's low density. It looks like they're not. Oh yeah, California's included too. Okay, so You know, apparently they're taking a page from FTD or something and saying, you know, maybe we can have local businesses deliver packages for us. They, according to estimates, they're paying about $2.50 a package for an average of 30 packages a day. I don't know how that you could possibly make that work. You know, even if you're paying somebody just, you know, $15 an hour or something like that, it's still it's going to take a half hour per package minimum, I would say, if you're driving around town. And if you're a little out of town, it's even worse. So, you know, your cost just of labor, not wear and tear and car expenses, is going to be substantially higher than that. Can't possibly work. But anyway, maybe they're tricking small business into it. You know, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Let's see. I think I'm missing. There's one more article I wanted in here. Sometimes I lose articles. Does that make any sense? Right? Oh yeah, here's the last one. I did lose an article. Okay, AB fires CMO. Okay, and so they quietly let go the Daniel Blake, the group vice president for marketing, and Alyssa Hernscheid. Alyssa was a second level connection when the story broke, but then her LinkedIn profile disappeared. You know, it's nice to hire people for a wide variety of reasons, but the video she did in March suggested that she didn't really think much of Bud. You know, she wanted to come and completely change the ethos of it from fratty, out of touch humor to evolve it into inclusivity and a shift in tone. And I think she was the poster child for inclusivity, where she got hired even though she didn't like where the number one selling beer in America, not anymore, was positioned. So corporate America, you might want to take note. At least hire people that think something positive about your brand before you let them smash it, which, I mean, you know, in a very minor promotion, you know, a couple of cans of beer, this thing just really lit up. So it just shows you how easy it is to lose a reputation that's been built over 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. Okay, here's a really interesting article by Bill Farquharson. Do the majority of printing industry salespeople have ADD? It's an interesting question. Some people think I have ADD, but best I can tell, probably not. Although he gives a self-diagnosis here. To those of you unfamiliar with or free of the effects of ADD, let me define it for you. But first, a quick side story. However, before I get to that, I need to write something down real quick or else I'll forget it. And wait, did you catch the phrase pure sales rep in the title of the... So this is a sort of a self-diagnosis. If this paragraph makes any sense to you, then you probably have ADD. So I'm not sure. You know, Bill said his daughter was diagnosed with it, and the doctor said it was probably hereditary, and therefore looked at him and said, "From you." My son might, you know, there's been some discussion about that. I don't know. I think it's like over prescribed, and as he says in the article, you know, if you grew up with this in your head, I used to teach Sunday school every week for 28 years and just talk for an hour. Can you believe I could talk for an hour every Sunday? And you know, sometimes people would say that the teaching was a little bit scattered. It was enthusiastic and entertaining, but a bit scattered. And I used to tell them, you ought to see what it looks like inside my head, where I'm going basically all over the place in many directions at once. But the point he's making is that those with ADD may have difficulty focusing for any length of time, not the best listeners. Relaxing is not a strong suit, and there's constantly another conversation going on inside our heads. But at the same time, how could someone like this be successful? Well, they're usually smart and creative. They're high energy and likable, and they can get locked into a project to the point where they shut everything else out, and they have tenacity, and they won't let go of a prospect or client. So that might add up to the best sales reps. That's not to say they're loved by their support team. Many a CSR has been driven mad by the ADD rep they work with. And here's the story where he tells how he decided he had this blessing. I know I do have dyslexia. That much I know because I can flip things around and see them in my head backwards. Someone came up to me after a speech where I was talking about, I don't remember what, the United States of America or something, and I flipped it around and pointed to Maine where the audience would visualize Maine, not where the speaker would. And they asked me how I did that. I said, I don't know. I visualize it in my head and then I flip it upside down or, rotate it. They said, they'd never seen a speaker do that before. Well, I do it. Sometimes I spin it too many times and I'm back to normal person's orientation. Okay, so how do you overcome this? If you're a salesperson with this interesting characteristic, begin every day with a plan. Ask yourself repeatedly, over and over, and often, what is the best use of my time right now? Those are probably excellent. We're also driven by, or people like this are driven by deadline pressures, and especially maddening are the days between Christmas and New Year's and around the 4th of July. And I can't identify with that. At one time I did a special project where I made calls all between Christmas and New Year's to see what I could do. And it was one of my best sessions of calling in my life because I could reach the other CEOs because they were working, even though the rest of their company took off. So if a sales rep can learn to harness this energy, the sky's the limit, And I've talked about Vic Hunter, and he and I worked on both CRM and also sales integration and sales management by the numbers, sort of. And later, after I left, he built a real system for filtering salespeople to hire salespeople. Sometimes for other companies, sometimes for his own company. And they just weren't working out so well. And I had talked to somebody who had been through the filter. I knew a few people who had been through the filter. And they said, all these psychological tests and all this stuff. And the way the process had gotten developed, it was, lots of forms to fill out, continually asking the salesperson what they believed their potential for success was with a particular client. And I was told firsthand that it was maddening, and who would ever want that? I had been in straight commission sales not long before I went to work for Vic. And so I came back to him. I explained, when I was in straight commission sales, I was one of the top salespeople in the company and regularly outsold salespeople that had a regular portfolio of renewals, whereas I was out prospecting for new business. And but I said I'd usually get really started making calls about 10. I would take a 2-hour lunch and quit by 3 and get my 2 sales per day or whatever it was, and make way more money than my friends who were doing summer jobs for college. So I said, salespeople, they kind of want to be out driving around, seeing what's what, and maybe stopping someplace that looks interesting and making their quota and maybe beating it. But I think Bill's onto something. I think that you can't necessarily use sales management by the numbers. And so I'd like to know what Matthew thinks about it. I'm going to tag him in the in the comments and see what he has to say. And Andrew, I know Andrew's been hiring salespeople, Andrew Ettinger. So let's find out what they think. And I'll tag them also. But anyway, thanks, Bill, for this excellent article. Makes you think. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.